Hi, I'm Gabe, and I'm a from Sorry. Since I work in media, I can't talk about my identity or lived experience, because apparently that would be divisive. Today, we're taking a look at folks that have started using the phrase identity politics to stifle conversation that makes them uncomfortable. Here's why they should step out of their bubble of alternative facts and take a look at what's actually dividing our country. On today's agenda, we'll be discussing identity politics. The way we use the phrase identity politics today usually applies to an individual or group focused on a narrow cause, often to their benefit at the exclusion of others. Which is funny because it sounds like something racist white people literally invented. Like the time they tried to legally count a black person as only a portion of a white person. Or the time they spent taxpayer dollars on two of everything instead of sharing with people of color. Or even the time white nationalist Richard Spencer said this:
America, at the end of the day, belongs to white men.
Historically, examples of white excellence in America seem to necessitate the exclusion or subjugation of anyone who isn't a white guy. But the moment people of color or ethnic minorities start to reclaim these differences and own a culture they've developed under government-sanctioned oppression, suddenly we're the ones hung up on race? Don't hate the player, hate the game your racist ancestors invented. Apparently, whenever people of color talk about systemic inequality and how it affects their lives day to day, we're playing the race card. But based on the way everyone from members of Congress to Breitbart bloggers have been using the phrase, identity politics has become a safety blanket for alt-right snowflakes, eager to lash out at their opponents using phrases like the woman card or the gay agenda when they find themselves unable to debate using science, history, or fact. What the right gets wrong about their identity politics claim is that today's movements for equality are inclusive. From the Black Lives Matter movement to the Women's March on Washington, centering vulnerable communities in a name has never meant the exclusion of allies, because allies know that equality means first lifting up those who don't share in it equally. Can't say the same for the adorable deplorables at a Trump rally who kicked out a black man, assuming the color of his skin made him a protester.
Get him out of here!
Gotta love that alt-right inclusivity. This is why Americans, particularly the white majority in this country, need to hear from people who aren't like them. According to a 1996 study from USC's Annenberg School, television programs can influence the way a viewer feels about groups through a process known as priming. Exposure to stereotypes or counter-stereotypes can alter that viewer's behavior toward a stereotyped group in an unrelated media event. So, if the stories you consume on screens can influence the way you treat people in the real world, representation and authenticity take on an entirely new urgency. When you call shows like Blackish or Master of None, or even the One Day at a Time reboot Reverse Racist, because they center around non-stereotypical people of color, you're ignoring the fact that for centuries, our entertainment hasn't. You don't lose an episode of Friends for every episode of Blackish that comes out. This isn't a zero-sum game. Although apparently y'all can't even share a fictional character, as evidenced by Megyn Kelly.
And by the way, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white.
So when I talk about being a queer Latino and needing representation for other people like me, I'm not trying to erase straight, white Anglo narratives. And I'm not trying to police your thought. I'm simply trying to add my experience to the cultural record, because I feel like an accurate understanding of it is still in the works. I'm a resource, not an executive order. We've got doughboys with knockoff Macklemore haircuts out here saying America belongs to white man because they're too insecure to imagine a world where they thrive without oppressing someone else. In the face of alternative facts, we need to hear unflinchingly honest truths. Don't let racist, mediocre white guys gaslight you into being ashamed of who you are or what you bring to the table, because this country thrives when we listen to people of all shades, backgrounds, and lived experiences. Whiteness is not America, and no matter how hard they try to shut us up, it never will be.